Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, the SEC has just delayed yet another Ethereum ETF application, leaving many people wondering what is going on. And so in today's video, we're going to go over a quick summary of the market. We're going to go into this SEC news. I'm going to tell you why I think this news is actually a good thing for the market, and then we're going to close off with some TA on Ethereum, just so you can kind of get an idea of what its price is doing. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get into the video. So looking at the top 10 altcoins over on CoinMarketCap, nothing really going on here today, honestly. I mean, you can look at the 1 hour, it's crazily flat. 24 hour, you have some things like ETH, you have some things like Solana, you have some things like Avalanche up 1 to 3%. Not really all that interesting. And then even on a more macro-based perspective, the 7-day is rather boring. You have some things going on like Tron and Chainlink kind of battling back and forth for that number 11 spot. But realistically, again, the top 10 has been rather boring. Now, if you step outside the top 10, it is a little bit more exciting. You got things like DYM and Jupe doing extremely well. The fact that Jupe is up 10% on the day after Solana's network went down yesterday, I think that's a pretty good sign. And it goes to show that what I talked about in yesterday's video is true. So go check that out if you like. But overall, again, not much going on. I mean, a 44% gain being the biggest gain that we're seeing right now is not really all that exciting, to be honest. But overall, I do believe the fact that general market sentiment is bullish is a good sign, especially considering, again, the fact that we did get this news. Now, the news was that the SEC has pushed back the timeline for a decision on whether to approve or disapprove the proposed Invesco Galaxy Ethereum ETF. They went on to say that the institution of proceedings is appropriate at this time in the view of the legal and policy issues raised by the proposed rule change. Now, basically, the institution of proceedings is them saying, we have not come to a decision yet, we need more time. It's annoying, but they have the right to do it. So at the end of the day, you can't really complain too much. Now, they had also pushed back some other deadlines for spot ETF approvals, including the one from Grayscale Investments last month. On Tuesday, the agency asked similar questions it posed to Grayscale, including whether Ethereum's proof-of-stake mechanism and concentration of control or influence by a few individuals or entities could bring up unique concerns to make the fund susceptible to fraud or manipulation. And hate them or love them, I definitely don't like the SEC, but these aren't bad questions, right? And what you have to understand is that a Bitcoin ETF approval and an Ethereum ETF approval are not going to be the same things because the overall foundation of each are different, right? The foundation of Ethereum, which is proof of stake, and the foundation of Bitcoin, which is proof of work, are completely different. And raising the question if proof of stake makes this thing a security to some degree, or whether it makes it open for manipulation and things of that nature, that is valid. And I do understand where they're coming from to this. Now, they go on to say that comments are due for the Invesco Galaxy Ethereum ETF in 21 days with a rebuttal period that lasts 35 days, says the SEC. So this is definitely going to get delayed to, your March, April, May-ish area, and they will likely continue to delay it as long as they possibly can, because for some reason, that's just how they work. I think it's dumb, but that's just how they work. Now, at the end of the day, what I will go ahead and say is, again, although this isn't necessarily the best news, after the BlackRock ETF got delayed, we kind of figured this was going to happen. But I wanted to touch on this because, again, I do think that this is a good sign. Now, why do I think this is a good sign? Well, the way that I see it is that these markets have a cyclical nature, okay? Not only do they have a cyclical nature, there's a natural flow in crypto, which goes majors, Bitcoin, then Ethereum, then minor alts, then microcaps, then meme coins, then pre-sales. That's the general flow of liquidity in the crypto market. And what we've seen historically is that over the course of a bull run, right, say the course of 2 to 3 years, you're going to see that liquidity naturally flow from Bitcoin to Ethereum to major alts to minor alts to microcaps to meme coins to pre-sales. Again, now, if we were to see, for example, the Ethereum ETF approval happen, that's likely going to trigger a liquidity push towards Ethereum. And what I would say is that it's too soon in this macro cycle for that. And if that was to happen, it could trigger that trickle down in which we see a micro cycle occur, in which we don't see the macro cycle starting at all, actually. We don't see Bitcoin, then Ethereum, then et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Over the long term, we actually see that cycle get reduced, condensed into a smaller cycle that only lasts 5-6 months, and then maybe we go real quiet, real bearish for 5-6 months, and then we go to look for the more macro bullish cycle. I think Ethereum getting approved too soon and not allowing the liquidity to flow into Bitcoin, allow it to settle into Bitcoin to then trickle down. If it gets approved too soon and doesn't allow that to happen, I think that we could kind of stall or stunt the growth of this bull market. And I think we just need to allow that natural flow to happen. Let Ethereum calm down for a little while. Let it just do whatever it wants to do. But let Bitcoin continue to garner all these hundreds of millions of dollars. Let Bitcoin get all this attention from its ETF approval. Let us start to see the supply get eaten up by all of these ETFs. Let that happen. Let the halving happen. Let let that liquidity go to Bitcoin, let it hit an all-time high, then let's trigger on some of these different approvals, then let's start to funnel towards Ethereum, because then we can have that macro altcoin cycle, which is what we all really want. And so for me, in my opinion, I think that this is totally fine. I don't think this is a bad thing whatsoever, and I think that it's actually better for the overall macro bull market, which is why when I see these things, I get a little bit happy. Now, overall, for the price of Ethereum, what is that doing? It's not doing really anything, okay? If we look at this thing, let's actually zoom out to the daily charts and just kind of get a feel for what we're looking at here. The last, 2 months, almost 3 months now, have been rather flat, and this is exactly what we want to see. Based off of the perspective that I just provided you all, that we need to see it happen to Bitcoin first, it's good to see Ethereum just relaxing right now. It's not stealing too much liquidity. It's not stealing too much attention, because if we were to see it do that again, I think it could trigger that trickle down too fast, and this bull market would be condensed to a lot less time. Honestly, to a lot less time. And we have seen that in other asset classes over the course of a year or 2 years, right? And so the fact that we are seeing Ethereum kind of flat right now, I think is a good thing. I think the fact that they're not really doing too much is a good thing. Obviously, if we do see this thing come back down and lose support around $2,100, that could be a rather concerning sign, as we would be looking for this, and this head and shoulders, but I would cover that, of course, if it came to fruition a little bit more. Now, what I did want to mention, of course, if you are looking to trade Ethereum or dollar cost average or buy Ethereum, whatever you want to do, I did get you a really good deal over with the DeepCoin exchange. If you deposit $100 or more on their platform, they're going to give you a $20 voucher that you can use for whatever you want. You just can't withdraw it, but you can trade it, you can buy cryptos, you can do what you want with it. Then on top of that, you're going to get a $100 fee voucher, meaning you're going to get to trade $100 of fees completely for free. So once you run out of those fees, then you're going to have to pay for your trading, but you get free trading for a while, okay? It's actually a really good deal. You can get a 20% gain on a $100 investment almost immediately. So go down to the link in the description below, go check out that DeepCoin exchange link and let me know what you think. Also, if you do want to see the things that I'm buying, selling, and all that good stuff, I do have my portfolio, exclusive content, and more in my Patreon down below. Just wanted to plug those two things for you here. But overall, like I mentioned before, this isn't a bad thing. The market's not really reacting to it in a bad way. I think it's a good thing. The market sentiment still seems to remain rather bullish, and I think most people have a very similar mindset, which is why we're kind of just, the market's just chilling right now, even after these delays and stuff. So with that in mind, of course, I hope you guys do enjoy this new style of video. If you do enjoy these new styles, make sure that you do like this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.